Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman. Now I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. It is Friday morning, which means last night was Thursday night preview night at the theater. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know where I was spending my time. And I'm so glad that I spent that hour and 40 minutes or so in the movie theaters for this movie. Something I've been waiting for since the minute it was announced. And this is a movie I didn't think we knew we were going to get or knew we even needed or wanted. But now that it's here, it's so good. It's such another wonderful chapter in this story that, like I said, I don't think any of us knew we needed, but I'm certainly sure we'll all be glad we have. So why don't you pull up a chair, man, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in, spoiler-free, into Toy Story 4. Ugh, man, I mean, look, Toy Story 3 made me bawl like a baby, so I was ready. I had plenty of tissues, and to my surprise, I laughed a ton in this movie. Not completely surprising. Some of the characters you knew were going to make you laugh. But there's a lot of really good humor in this movie, and there's a lot of good story in this movie. And yes, by the time you get to the end, the old Seaman was rolling some tears, and deservedly so. The movie pulls on the heartstrings. In just the best ways it can. Big shouts to Josh Cooley, first-time director here. He's kind of been involved in a bunch of Pixar movies, whether it be, collaborating on writing or art design or voice acting. So he gets to go behind the camera here, and I thought he did a really nice job, man. The movie flows really well. I thought the pacing was great. It really, I came out and I was like, that was... I don't have too much to pick apart, man. Everything about the movie is executed really, really well. And when you're talking about an animated movie where you have so many moving parts and pieces, the director's got a big job to do. And I thought Josh Cooley helped make sure that this thing got from point A to point B nice and smooth. It was a wonderful ride. And like I said, just full of heart and everything you want in a Toy Story movie. And of course, that's got to give, shout outs to the writing staff here. Andrew Stanton, who of course has been involved pretty much from the beginning with Toy Story, and Stephanie Folsom. Just a really, really good screenplay, man. I love this story, and for those that are unfamiliar, after Toy Story 3, Andy goes to college, leaves all the toys with this little girl, Bonnie, who we are now hanging out with in this movie, and she kind of goes to kindergarten at the beginning, which leads to our new friend Forky that we've seen in the previews, and then that eventually leads to the trip that they go on, and Forky gets away. Woody's got to go save Forky, and then Woody doesn't come back, so Buzz has got to go save Woody. A lot of things that we're familiar with in the world of Toy Story, but what's really cool here is the introduction to the idea of the lost toys. I was very glad that not only is Bo Peep in this movie, they address why she was missing previously, and you kind of get into the lost toy concept. Something, all the toys are afraid of. You never want to not be with your child. And it's a really interesting world. We get introduced to a lot of new characters that are just vibrant and funny and really interesting. And Bo Peep gets an awesome run in the story. It's really Woody story. Woody's your through all the way, from start to finish. Really nice Buzz stuff, really nice Bo Peep stuff to support that main chunk of the story. And I just thought it all worked really well and peels back, like I said, some more layers into the world of toys and just connects in ways that make sense, man. If you grew up playing with toys, if you're a kid playing with toys right now, if you're an adult playing with toys, you just connect with this thing on a wavelength that like only someone who's had that experience can connect with it. And to see them give those perspectives and ideas from the toys side, the toys story is still really, really good. And I thought it worked really well here and opened up a door where you could maybe make some more Toy Story movies without the original cast coming back. The new characters we meet in this movie are awesome and very interesting, and you really want to go along with them by the end of the movie. You're like, I'd be okay if we went and played with these guys some more because they're a lot of fun. So obviously a lot of characters to get into in any of these Toy Story movies. And as I said, Woody, he's our through line start to finish, and Tom Hanks, absolutely wonderful, man. you really get to kind of get into the psyche and into the head of Woody post Andy, and it's kind of almost like a PTSD to a certain degree for a toy. And even though he has a new kid, it kind of makes him lose his way because he's not the toy. He's not, Bonnie's first toy or the toy that she loves the most. So he's kind of lost to a degree. And getting to watch him kind of figure things out by trying to protect Forky the whole movie, that's kind of his self-imposed, story. He has to keep Forky from trying to get away because there's a very interesting element to Forky that he doesn't really want to be a toy, and the way he comes together and how it all happens makes a lot of sense, and it's just a wonderful part of the story. And then getting to watch Forky evolve while hanging out with Woody and some of the other people he meets, and get this really nice kind of added sidekick to Woody's story this time that I thought worked really well. And seeing how how much he's grown from the time of Buzz Lightyear being a new toy to now this, spork who's been turned into a toy. And understand that. I just love that about him. And then, like I said, his overall psyche and where he is and trying to figure out his place in the world without Andy. I just thought it was fascinating and done really, really well. And Tom Hanks, of course, crushes. And where Woody goes throughout the movie, you have a lot of fun with him, man. He's got great, really funny moments. He's got some awesome action sequences. And as always, the heart of the man, Woody. He'll get you, man. As does my man Buzz Lightyear and Tim Allen. He, as I said, kind of is in charge of going to track down Woody and Forky when they don't come back when they're supposed to. And as I said, they kind of end up on a trip. And when Woody doesn't show up, Buzz is like, well, there's only one thing to do. And he's got to go save Woody. And there's a really interesting story for Buzz about trying to figure out how to make decisions. Hysterical, works so well in the movie, and every time it happens you're just like, that's genius. And I love Tim Allen, and he, of course, it is Buzz Lightyear when he steps up, up to the mic to deliver the Buzz stuff. And his story is really good, always being that kind of support structure to Woody and always being the guy who has his back, and how that all leads by the end of the movie. It's just a really nice buddy stretch too, where the two of them are working together. And every time Buzz and Woody are on screen, it gets me choked up, man, because where they've come from one to now is just great. And I thought Buzz's story was wonderful. His jokes are great. I love Tim Allen. But as much as I love those two guys, and Woody probably has the most screen time, my girl Bo Peep, she's back. She is badass, and she steals the show. Annie Potts crushes it, man. I've always been a Bo Peep fan, and never thought she got her just due in the movies. And then, of course, disappearing. So to find out what happened to her, I like that they filled in that blank. And then to give her the story that they gave her, oh man, she gets to have so much fun action, so many badass sequences. And you just are like, I love this version of Bo Peep. Like you can see, she's battle wounded and scarred. She's been, a lost toy essentially for like 5 or 6 years. She's been gone for 9. Had known her and then kind of got lost, and she ends up in the antique shop for a little bit and now is hanging out in the world with all these lost toys and hanging out specifically at a carnival that's come through to the town. And she's just wonderful. I thought Annie Potts crushed it, and like I said, I just loved all the Bo Peep stuff and the animation. I think I might have breezed over that before. The animation throughout is just stunning, and Bo Peep is one of those characters that really pops and you're like, wow, look how much better she looks. But I've seen side by sides of Buzz and Woody. It's crazy how the bar just keeps getting raised every time an animated movie from anybody comes out. And again, man, there's really photo-real stuff here with Buzz and Woody, specifically backgrounds, cars, roads, the antique shop. There's a beautiful sequence with Woody and Bo Peep in the antique shop where you're just like, wow. And it's like photo-real. It's crazy how good the animation is. So, and Bo Peeps is wonderful, and there are some things to her being kind of war-tested and battered a little bit that lead to some really funny things and some really awesome moments for her. And then while we're out kind of in that world, you obviously have all of our other toys that we've grown up with, and, they kind of get sidelined a little bit, which is fine. It's kind of happened in some of the other movies, and they all get a little bit to do here and there, man. We get to hang out with Slink, we get to hang out with Jessie and Dolly and Trixie and Rex and Ham and Mr. Potato Head. Archived sound of Don Rickles, man, is so wonderful to hear his voice. So missed. So it was great that they had archived sound that they were able to use in the movie and incorporate him. But they all pop up, man. As do some of the new toys that were Bonnie's before they got there. Jeff Garlin as Buttercup. He has a thing that he wants to accomplish in this movie that's hysterical and plays wonderfully into the trying to stall the family from leaving in the third act. So funny, man. But everybody shows up. It's one of these, like, you just got to shout out all the names. Joan Cusack, Bonnie Hunt, Kristen Schaal, Wallace Shawn, John Ratzenberg, Blake Clark, as I said, Don Rickles. But, Jeff Garlin, just all of these names. Estelle Harris, Mrs. Potato Head. They're just names galore, and they all show up. They all do a great job. And I love seeing our older toys. And even though we don't get to play with them maybe as much as we'd like, the elements that they have in the RV and their storyline, even at the beginning, I just liked and enjoyed really a lot. And they all are still exactly what you would expect them to be. And the reason they get kind of sidelined a little bit is there is a cast of new characters that will steal your heart in this movie. Like I said, you get to the end of this thing, and there's a doorway where you can go follow the new toys. And I wouldn't be mad about it, because I really enjoyed them. It starts with funny guys, Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele. If you're a Key and Peele fan, you watch the show, just like their comedy, the things that they've worked on, you are going to love Toy Story 4. Bunny and Ducky, or rather Ducky and Bunny, Key and Peele, absolutely hysterical, man. And just so many, again, nostalgia vibes, just watching the two of them interact and play off each other. It's just so perfect when they are in a room together. And watching them interact. And there's a thing about Ducky and Bunny that I didn't really pick up on in the trailers that I think is hysterical. And then they have a thing that they want to do the entire movie. And every time it comes up, specifically when people are asking about ideas, so funny, man. You get classic Key and Peele in this movie. Really great additions. And I just loved anytime you got Ducky and Bunny on screen just going back and forth and motor mouthing, man. It's so good. Then you have Christina Hendricks, who plays Gabby. She is the doll in the antique store who's kind of set up to be our antagonist, along with her mime puppet henchmen that are absolutely terrifying. There's moments in the movie where real people run into them and they're like, ah! And I'm like, yeah, I would do the same thing because they're really creepy, and they're creepy in the movie. But I thought Christina Hendricks was wonderful, man. Gives you Prospector vibes early on, but there's a part of her story that gets really interesting toward the end, and how that plays in the third act. I was just like, wow, man, Christina Hendricks made me buy everything that toy is doing on screen, and I really enjoyed her performance. Bo Peep kind of has a sidekick that's like a Polly Pocket police officer named Giggle McDimples, voiced by Ally Mackey. Awesome, really funny. I like how she incorporated into what became our main group of characters. So by the end, it's Woody, Buzz, Bo Peep, Billy Goat and Gruff, her sheep, Giggle McDimples, and then Duke Kaboom, voiced by Keanu Reeves, who is the man right now, dude. You can't get away from Keanu, and I can't get enough of Keanu Reeves. And I loved Duke Kaboom, man. He's this daredevil motorcyclist who will do tricks and stuff, and just never kind of lives up to what the commercials promise. A lot of toys, if you grew up when we grew up, don't always live up to what you see on TV, and how that plays into his psyche and how he plays in the movie. It's just so funny. And even though he's Canadian and Keanu ain't really delivering a Canadian accent, it don't matter. I could listen to Keanu Reeves do anything, and Duke Kaboom just matches up so well with what Keanu's doing voice-wise. I'm so happy he's in this movie. I'm so happy he crushed it. I love Duke Kaboom. And because of those guys, because of Bunny and Ducky, I would totally be down to follow that group around because it's a lot of fun. And then the end of the movie, right? I laughed. I had a lot of fun. I cheered. All sorts of that great stuff throughout the whole thing. But you get down to the last 10 minutes, man. Them waterworks, they're coming. If you cried at the end of Toy Story 3, bring your tissues because you're going to cry here. And if you don't cry, it's fine. You don't have to. But it makes me go, that kid in you is not maybe as prominent as it should be. Because if you live that, man, if you're an adult like myself who's still into toys and, all this type of stuff, oh, do they pull on the heartstrings, man? And in a way I wasn't expecting, but also kind of expecting, but it was delivered in a way that I wasn't expecting. I was just like, oh, Oh man, oh they're so good at it, and I hate it, but I love it. The ending is so strong. I really liked where it went, and I think it went where it should have went. And I think that could open up a really interesting door going forward if Pixar and Disney ever want to come back around to Toy Story again. But for Toy Story 4, dude, like so good, man. Really, really enjoyed it. That's all I gotta say, about Toy Story 4. I've rambled for quite some time. So now it's your turn, man. I want to know what you're thinking. My theater was packed. Every other show I looked at was packed, so it seemed like a lot of people, at least on the East Coast, out in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut area, a lot of rain lately. So a lot of people out at the movies last night. So if you went and saw Toy Story 4, what are you thinking, man? Try not to spoil anything. It is only, day 1.5. But let me know what you're thinking, man. What was funny? What was working? What was not working? Did you like the new characters? How they were included into the movie? Did you think there was too much of them? Would you have liked to hung out with the old gang more? Or did it all just work and, again, deliver another wonderful chapter in the Toy Story story? So let me know what you're thinking about the movie if you saw it. If you haven't, please tell me that I enticed you. And honestly, please tell me that I didn't have to entice you. Tell me you're in on going to see Toy Story 4. And tell me what you're looking forward to, man. Like I said, there's a lot of good stuff in this movie. I think people are really going to enjoy it. So leave all your comments down below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, you want to come hang out with the C-Man, you got to go hit that subscribe button, man, and the little bell so you can get alerts every time I make a video. And there's lots of videos to come, man. Our summer is packed full of movies. I still got 2 more to go catch this week that came out that I'm intrigued by both. So I love this, man. So you want to hang out with all that, subscribe, hit that bell. You'll get alerts every time I drop a new video. For the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, I am the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. Well, you guys are still here. You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit Down squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.